So, welcome back to the FI Guys on FI Friday Feedback. Today we're going to be talking about our discussion with Mr. Hugh Massie that we had on Monday.
Indeed we are. It was a good podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. I would love to hear more about him, honestly, or more from him. There we go. But yeah, no, let's get into it.
Yeah. So first up, if you haven't heard Monday's pod, please go back and listen to that. If you're someone who doesn't like to complete things and just show up halfway through.
This is your pod.
This is your pod.
This is literally for you.
Yeah, but Hugh Massie is the executive chairman and founder of DNA Behavioral International, which is a behavior and money insight company. So really, when we were talking with him, I found that a lot of what he talks about, or his whole business model, is very similar to my business model, where we're melding psychology with
money habits.
With money habits.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's connected very well. Yeah, I like that. It's nice to see someone else who is in the same space and thinks similar. You know, I really appreciate that. Yeah, he had a lot of really interesting takes, though.
Yeah.
What was your favorite?
I've never heard of the
like the 360.
Yeah, like the 360, and then he talked a lot about like the quantum leap and stuff like that. So he's doing a few more things than just the money psychology section. Yeah. So I would like to go more into I'd love to go deeper into him with his leadership things when it comes down to like all that other stuff, because he's focused on far more than just the money psychology. He also has like the quantum leap stuff, the management things, a lot of leadership stuff as well. So there's a lot that I think Hugh could give us. So I definitely recommend, if you're more interested in him, picking his books and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that I thought I really liked about it, and it's funny because he was talking about it, and you jumped in, you're like, yeah, I already do that. He's like, awesome. I was going to do an Australian accent, but I can't. Crikey. Absolutely brilliant. But no, he was saying, you guys both were saying how, starting with the end in mind, how you said, when I was the obituary, when you were 20 something, you wrote out your obituary. That week. No, you wrote out your obituary and like all the things that were important to you and what you did with your life, and it just didn't connect with the goals or the things you were doing. The money, the status, the power. The power, I added that. Good. But we were watching too much Star Wars.
Okay.
Yeah, makes sense. But no, I really like that, starting with the end in mind. And I feel like it's kind of not depressing, but I kind of like the idea of writing your obituary out and being like, oh, I love my family. This is what I did my life, everything. And maybe something you update every year. Maybe. Yeah,
I think that's something good. I remember, so I didn't do that when I was 20. I did that actually in my later 20s when I was still in my corporate, I guess not early 20s. It was later 20s. So it was still my corporate career. I remember I watched a YouTube video a long time ago, and it was just basically what someone was like most happy for in their life. Or like what was the most important thing in their lives. And then when they asked like a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, all the way up to 100 years old. And of course, when the kids started out, it was like, I'm happy for my lollipop, or it's something silly.
Yeah, candy and toys.
Some sort of material object.
Yeah.
But then as it got older and progressively older, you just kind of noticed this. I was happy for my family. I was happy for this. And no one cared about material. Not a single person past like 60 or 65 maybe said anything about material objects.
Really?
It was all about the way they impacted people, their relationships with people, their kids, their family, their church group, whatever it was, but it had to do with other people. And then like those markers of status that we all kind of cling to and say like, this is what makes me successful. All that goes away the closer you come towards your inevitability of being gone from this world.
Interesting. Question. I'm genuinely curious about this. Now, you said the people 60 and older, they don't care about the material possessions as much.
I'm sure they do. When you ask like, what's your most important?
Most, yeah. I mean, it'd be pretty weird if like you were like 65 and like my best possession is my Corvette. I'd be like, what about your family? Like, nah, I get that out of here.
Don't need that.
Never needed that. They're more expensive anyways. No, but I think it's interesting. Like, do you think you have to go through and get the materialistic things in life to only then realize that you don't really need them? Or can you have that growth of, I don't need materialistic things without actually getting it?
I think so. Yeah. I think it can. I think it takes a special person who really wants to look inwards and try to figure that out beforehand. There's an old Jim Carrey quote. It's kind of funny, but Jim Carrey basically said, as a millionaire, you think that when you reach $1 million, you'll finally be happy. But I can tell you, as a millionaire, you will not. And then everyone goes, well, that's easy for you to say, Jim Carrey, you're a millionaire. But like, that's the moral conundrum, right?
Yeah.
Is that you think that if I got $1 million, I'd finally be happy. And then what most people come to realization is that they're not happy because they haven't fundamentally changed themselves. I think that's what Hugh was really talking about a lot with the money energy thing. And that money has 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
It's not just a currency. It really isn't. There's also the behaviors behind it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Gosh. Yeah. There's so many good things in that podcast. I really enjoyed that. And it was funny. Before the podcast started, I was looking around like, I bet he's British. I bet he's British. I was wrong. He was Australian. But yeah, no, anything else you want to chat about when it comes to Hugh? I mean, there was a lot, but
yeah, I mean, I think there really is a lot. The big thing that I got from Hugh was, and the thing I try to convey to our audience too, is that wealth doesn't need to be just measured by the amount of money you have in your bank account. And I think Hugh was one of the first people to come on, was the first person to come on the podcast and kind of echo the things that we try to say. Because when we would tell people on our podcast, say like, wealth isn't the number one thing, you should focus more on your family and all these things. So we get reviews in the comments saying like, well, that's stupid. Like my family's love can't buy them bread.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
Fair.
It's fair
argument, but there is like a balance.
There's levels to it, yeah.
And there's levels there, and I really want to make sure that our audience understands like never let the quantifiable goals of your life, the quantifiable how much money we have, how big of a house, how expensive is my car. Don't let that outshine the unquantifiable things in your life. You can never quantify how much your family loves you. Correct. How close your relationships are, your kids are, how much your spouse and you are connected, but those things are far more important than living what I believe a wealthy life is.
Absolutely. Going back just a quick point on the materialistic side, I had a question, then I forgot the question, so I pivoted to you, but I got my question back.
Okay.
So one of my biggest fears is, me, I love the Audi R8. They're discontinuing it, unfortunately, for me in my life. But
so sad.
I saw one on the road today. And I was just like, it's the same one. I
pulled over and Grand Theft Auto it.
Dude, it's funny because I know where he works. Yeah. I'm not going to rat on him, but he works at a jeweler. And I'm not going to say his license plate, but it's jewelry related. And I always see it. I'm like, oh man, that's so nice. And I was just like, me, I'm driving in the Buick. And I love my Buick. Don't get me wrong. I would not, honest to God.
Driving in your grandma car?
Dude, let me tell you. If I had the money to get an R8, I'm not getting rid of the Buick still.
Okay.
I love that thing. Bro, it's been good to me. How can I turn my back on it? But anyway, one of my biggest fears when getting that car, eventually I will get it, is realizing that I never actually wanted the car.
Yeah.
It was the pursuit of it. And it's like, we've talked about it before, and it's just like, I don't want to foreshadow that because you've been down that road. I've been down that road a little bit. I was like, I want to daily drive this car. When I get it, I'm going to enjoy this car. I swear. It's like going to a cruise and be like, I'm doing every opportunity.
You see, and you said that last time we had a discussion a few podcasts ago about minimalism, right? And I brought that up that dopamine, the release of dopamine, everyone thinks it's the pleasure response. You get it when you achieve the thing, but dopamine is actually the pursuit response.
Yes.
So you're releasing dopamine as you pursue it, but the moment you attain what you want, the dopamine stops.
Yeah, it decreases rapidly.
It decreases rapidly, and now you need to have a new pursuit in order to have that feel good feeling. I think one other thing that you said that really was he doesn't know what he's talking about yet.
Yeah.
Is I told you if you get that car, I guarantee you'll covet it too much, and instead of it being a joyous thing, it'll be a fearful thing of you being I can't take this thing out. I worked so hard for it. And I could just see you saying oh no, life is meant to be lived. But if you work so hard to achieve something like that, even with my truck, and my truck isn't a super expensive car. Yeah. It's a nice car, but it's nothing crazy. Yeah. For the first few years when you buy off the lot, it's a brand new vehicle. You're so cautious of it. And my car is nowhere near an Audi. What is it?
R8.
R8 is nowhere near that in terms of price range. I remember the first time I got a scratch, I freaked the hell out.
Really?
Yeah. And now it's just it is what it is.
That's how I feel about don't get me wrong, we've got it's a nice setup in here right now, and it's when I first got it, and the same thing. It's oh, it's my baby. Don't look at it. Don't even look at it. Don't sneeze in this area. And now it's I've gotten complacent.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that we constantly habituate to our new level of behavior. I think that's something that Hugh kind of talked about too when he was talking about different money energies and the way that we take things and we look forward and we assign meaning to objects as if those objects are somehow us. But over time, we habituate to it. Now that object, that those nice speakers or whatever it is you're looking at, that doesn't mean anything anymore. That's not you anymore. No. Whatever you are is the new pursuit.
That's true. Go for it. It's true. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe not next week's pod, but in a few pods, maybe a year or two. I don't know.
You'll have your RDA.
I'll get the RA. Yeah.
And you get to tell us what it's like.
Yeah, like dopamine's crazy. Anytime the dopamine goes down, I floor that thing to 205 miles an hour down the 303, and I just euphoric.
So I'll tell you, a friend of mine, he won a Lamborghini.
Damn.
He sold the Lamborghini. The Lamborghini is no longer his anymore. He sold it, but he got a Lamborghini Huracan.
Okay, that's pretty
fancy, like purple Lamborghini. It was super cool. But the amount, and he was glad to have it and everything, but the amount of stress that having that car brought into his life, even though he won it, he didn't even
pay for it.
He didn't even pay. Well, he had to pay the taxes on it and everything, but like he didn't even win it. He didn't even pay for it. And the amount of stress that bringing that Huracan or bringing that Lamborghini into his life brought on was extra. Not saying that he didn't love it,
but
like he very rarely drove it here in Phoenix. He didn't want to get hurt. Like he had to buy like the most expensive insurance. He basically kept it in his car. He kept him and his wife's car outside because they didn't want to risk bringing it into the garage and like scratching something.
Yeah.
So it just sat in the center of his garage until they were finally able to sell it. Which they did. They had to get like a truck to transport it to another state because they didn't want to drive it.
Yeah.
So, at some point, your objects really do begin to own you.
Yeah.
Rather than you owning your objects.
I definitely think that nice things, like expensive things, and I'm not talking about like, because they can be expensive in money or they can be cheap in money, but expensive in like what you feel is value. And you can still baby. I feel like you really have to be ready for that type of journey, I guess he wasn't ready for it.
Oh, I mean,
or maybe that's just not his personality type.
Maybe not.
'Cause some people are they're just like very cautious. They just don't want that risk.
I don't know, man. I really think that if you, when you purchase that Audi R8, here in a year or two, we'll definitely see it. I really think your tune is going to change.
Maybe I will. But again, I'm young.
You haven't experienced it yet. So
exactly.
Once you do, it's the same thing with like when you purchase your first home.
Yeah.
It becomes like everything for a little while. Then you habituate to it, and it's like, okay, now it's just normal.
Yeah.
One thing I did enjoy about talking with Hugh, and I would have loved to maybe delve deeper in with him, is about his passion for helping boys without fathers.
Yeah.
Which was definitely something that was important to Hugh because that was his situation. He grew up in that same situation. I think he said his father passed away when he was very young.
Very young.
Yeah. So I think that's really awesome. The ability to want to give back to the community and more importantly find something that's important to you and make sure that passion is continuing to be given. But again, I think Hugh, well, I'm not sure how much money he has. We didn't even go into any of that kind of stuff. That's not really the point of the podcast.
No,
but it seems to me like he's really living a wealthy life, and money is just a facilitator of that.
100%.
But it's more he's pursuing his passions. That's what's giving him the wealthy life.
Yeah.
And the money is a consequence of the action of pursuing his passions.
Yeah. And I loved what he talked about in regards to like what you're good at. You combine that road with what you're really good at and what your passion is. And when those two things cross, he's like, that's what you should be working on. Not necessarily as a full-time jump in, quit your corporate, go for it. If it's an artist, go for it. More of like, work on it on the side and see if you can turn it into something, or figure out a way to bring that into the business you're already in. Like the story of, I think it was the accountant.
Yeah, the accountant who played piano.
Piano, yeah. She loved piano, but she wasn't good enough to be in a symphony. Yeah, exactly. But every time she would have an event, she would play the piano, and it's like, oh, everybody remembers that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the hard things nowadays is that there's so many people who are on Instagram, on social media, who just tell you, like, if you want something, burn the boats. Just go for it.
Go all in.
Go all in. But that's extremely dangerous.
It's dangerous. I can see both sides of it because, like, it's all situational. Like, if you're 20, living with your family, you have no expenses or very little expenses. I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's easy.
Yeah.
But if you're, a father with a son,
and you're like, I'm going to take up options trading. I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah, I will figure it out. Don't matter. College tuition fund, send it
done. I got it.
Yep, the Doge fund. That kind of ties into our viewer mailbag.
Oh, does it?
Yeah,
exciting.
It's gnarly. It's a gnarly one today. I I almost want to get right into it.
Oh, we'll get into it
in a little bit.
We'll get into it a little bit.
It's fun. It's funny.
Yeah. Some of the things I was thinking about a lot with Hugh that I think I'm pretty good at, and I know he kind of mentioned it, was coming to the understanding that money isn't everything. I know when I talked to him, I briefly said like, oh, I practice Buddhism, I practice Stoicism, and when we talked about my wife and like us not pursuing our passions, and I wonder how many Americans, when they heard me say like, or people I guess in general, like, oh, my wife turned down a job, they're like, oh, that's stupid. You would never do that. Yeah. Because we have these scripts in our mind. I call them money memes. Hugh calls them money energy. Yeah. A lot of different, some people call them money meeting, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it. We have these invisible scripts in our head, and so many people believe like there is a set path, and the path is if someone wants to give you more money, you take it. Mm-hmm. But that's also taking out that there can be some lifestyle design, some intention behind your decisions. Yeah. You don't have to always just pursue things because grandma told you this is a good job, because dad told you have to continue to grow, because in order to be successful, I need to be making 6 figures. You reach 6 figures. Oh, I guess it was 7 figures over and over and over again.
Like, you can have intention when climbing the corporate ladder. Mm-hmm. If you don't do it with intention, well, then it's just going to rule you. Mm-hmm. I think it's a good move that, you and your wife decided that you guys would rather travel more. Like, she doesn't need more. Like, you're good financially. So it's nice that you have the ability to say no to more money. But also, you have the freedom enough to say, I don't want that more responsibilities when it comes to her job, so that you guys can travel. And I know you guys are, planning for a kid eventually within, a certain time frame. And I think that's respectable. I feel like more people should take a step back and make decisions like that.
Yeah. And like we said, like, it's just a tool. And I think, Hugh really talks about that there's so many invisible scripts that people don't even know that are running in their head. And I would have really loved to go into like how DNA behavior really helps people. How do they uncover those unconscious beliefs that people have? Because, he was talking a lot about like the connection between the mind and the body. Definitely. And how like when you have a concern about money, usually sits in the gut, and he kind of even alluded to that, and maybe a cause for why cancer is so prevalent and things like that. And I don't really know any of that stuff, so I'm not gonna.
We're finance guys.
We're finance guys.
We're not health guys.
But I definitely can say that there is a profound connection between the body and the mind. So I found that very interesting when he was talking about it. Mm-hmm. I would love to explore that more and how he's able to uncover these things with people. Are they long, like hour-long conversations of just like basically financial therapy, or is it coaching? I don't know. I would love to kind of go into that a little bit deeper.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he talked about manifestation of bad things. When you go to bed thinking about money and you wake up thinking about money and you're stressed that whole time, it's like it sits in you. And like they say, stress is the silent killer. Yeah. I don't doubt that. Yep. I would believe it. Stress weighs on the soul. Yeah. Weighs on the body in a weird way that can't really be explained.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder, I know that Hugh was saying that he was a reformed accountant and he used to give financial advice and all the things that he used to do. And, that's the same thing that I did. And I didn't bring it up during the conversation, but back when I was doing financial plans for people, I'd be charging people $3,000 or whatever to do a financial plan. And you give them this like perfect plan. And that was the old way of doing financial planning, or you sold them a product or whatever. Yeah. And then you just kind of go on your merry way, and then they would go on their way, and you would assume that they implemented it. But just like to Hugh's point is, if you never work on the mindset, if you never work on the beliefs, if you never work on all these other issues, they're never going to implement that. Mm-mm. And I think one of the biggest takeaways that I took from our conversation with Hugh is when we asked, like, what holds people back in life and business? And he said it was their belief that they should not be successful in life and business.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, and a bit of fear in there as well. Mm-hmm. People are afraid to try new things. They're afraid to fail.
Yeah, and I just wonder, like, how do you overcome that? How do you overcome when you believe that, like, success, maybe there's so many people that I speak with still who are like, oh, well, if I pursue money, that means I'm a bad person. Yeah. Or if I have money, I'm a bad person. Even if I pursued my passion and just money happened to be the consequence of that, I'm a bad person. How do you begin to fix those issues?
Yeah. Yeah, because but it goes back to what you were saying on the pod on Monday. A lot of it's generational. Mm-hmm. Why do you think money is evil? Money isn't even alive. Mm-hmm. It's not a thing. It's not like this camera is evil. Mm-hmm. These microphones, evil. It's like they're inanimate objects. They don't make decisions for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, if I hit you with a hammer, the hammer's not evil. Yeah. I'm the evil one. Yeah. It's what you do with it.
I think we as humans always try to assign meanings, and we try to take our power away from it. Like we try to take like what we are giving to it. You know, and I think even Hugh said it. When he said it, I was like, oh wow. Like you belong on the flag. It's just like money is just a tool.
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah. I'm like, another one. A Phi brother.
A Phi brother.
Yeah. Phi bless you. But yeah, no, I agree 100%. It's a tool, and it can be used for good. It could be used for bad. I mean, we use the analogy all the time, the hammer analogy. You can break your hand with it, or you can build a home with it. Yeah. Either or. Choice is yours. Same like money.
Yeah. And then, you know, just for our audience, like I know Hugh, I'm not sure how old he is, but he seems to be in really good health. You know, still running companies and doing all this stuff. And he said that the biggest thing that he did is he just focused on his health, focused on what is the most important. So yeah, that's something that I think is the biggest thing. So many people, they end up in a job that they hate or doing stuff, and they have no more energy at the end of the day to try to put towards their health, towards their wellness, even towards their family. Yeah. You know, because they're just focused on the quantifiable metrics instead of the unquantifiable metrics. But I think Hugh fundamentally turns that around and says the wealth, the building, the company, all these things, that comes secondary. Yeah. To the intangible. To
the things that matter most.
The things that matter most.
His health, his family, you know, his, not happiness, but his peace, you know, and like he said, his freedom.
Yeah, and his freedom. And he said, like, every morning he wakes up and he gives the first hour and a half just to meditation, to being mindful to himself. You know, and I think that's one of the worst things that we as a society has done is we've taken these phones, you know, and we've brought them into the bedroom with us. We put them literally right next to us because it's our alarm, it's our notification system, it's everything. Yeah. But there's also an issue when you're tethered to all that all the time, and you don't give yourself space to take a break, to detach from everything. You know, how many of us, we wake up first thing in the morning, first thing we do is we check our emails. First thing we do is we check Instagram. First thing we do is we check
TikTok,
whatever it is. And we're no longer giving ourselves space to think.
Yeah. I was reading this article. It was about the negatives of ChatGPT, and it was sad because I agreed 100% with it.
What are they?
It was basically that since the rise of ChatGPT, critical thinking has gone down.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
And I'm like, I haven't written jack since ChatGPT's arrival. I mean, we're talking letters. We're talking YouTube descriptions. We're talking, I mean, I used to be very creative with the thumbnails. I used to have to make every single thumbnail. I make a thumbnail a day. And I would just, you know, oh, what can I do for this? Now I'm just like, oh, what do I think I could do for this? I type it in. You know, for recipes, it's just like, I'm not thinking anymore as much. And that's one thing that kind of concerns me. And I was talking with my friend Thomas about this the other day, and I was telling him kind of like how you were saying the phone tethers you. I was like, you know, sometimes I just want to disconnect. I just want to leave it all. Like, not leave people, but just want to be away. And he's like, yeah, dude, I shut my phone off all the time. Yep. I'll shut it off for a day. I'll shut it off for 2 days if I need to. And I'd be like, really? He's like, yeah, you're in control. Yep. You have the power.
Yeah. I turn off, like, my phone has 0 notifications with the exception of phone calls and texts. Yeah. Like, but like, don't you know any of that stuff? So many people, how many people are connected to Twitter or Instagram and they're just doing that all day as if it's just like, it's like a mind virus, and it's in you and you're stuck in it.
I had to delete TikTok.
Did you?
I had to delete it. I'm a recovering TikToker, recovering scroller. And I was just like, I'd be in here working and be like, I'm going to take a break. I go lay down on my bed, scroll, and I look up and like an hour or more has gone by, and I'm like, well, I don't feel like going back to work because I just feel tired. I'm like, well, now what? Yeah. I was like, I just wasted that time that I needed to get stuff done. So it's like, I got to get rid of it. Yeah. And I did. It's I miss it a little bit because I do enjoy like looking up recipes and like just like seeing what's on there, seeing what my friends are sending. So every now and again, I have 2 phones, so I don't really use the secondary phone, but that one has TikTok. And every now and again, like once a week, I'll check it. But no, it's weird because you use a certain thing in a certain area. Say like when you go to the bathroom, right? You might go on TikTok, right? For me now, I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, you just read your shampoo bottle.
Read my dude. Yes, literally. But
yeah, but it's really scary because, you know, social media, all these things were meant to connect us. But I think what we've seen is that it doesn't. It takes us further apart. Like you said, you waste an hour of your day. I think the average, I was looking at it, is kids in like what are the current generations? Gen Z,
Gen Y,
whatever, Gen Y, whatever they are. The current kids, they're like on their phones for 8 hours a day. 8 hours of screen time a day.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. If not more. Now imagine like those 8 hours, what else they could be putting their time to. And because they're like, oh, well, I need to be engaged in this stuff in order to be social, in order to keep up with my friends. Like, but no, you're not being social. You're being antisocial. You're literally watching other people live their lives.
Yeah.
Rather than living.
And it's not even their lives. It's like an inflated version of their lives too. So it's like, honestly like, I say ban it. I say ban it. Go for it.
They're trying to.
But
yeah, it's just there's so many strange things that come around with that. You know, I don't know how we moved from like talking about Hugh to that, but I know I know where Hugh was talking about, you know, making sure that you just live your life with intention, and I think that a lot of people aren't. One other thing that I do want to bring up, because you were talking about ChatGPT and how creation has been maybe seeming critical thinking
down.
Creation. I know Hugh, what he said is every morning he goes out and he walks and he spends time in nature. I think that's really a good way to connect in order to create content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One thing that I've noticed recently, especially with the advent of ChatGPT, is if you go on Shorts or if you go on TikTok, it's the same exact thing repurposed over and over and over again. And I think a lot of it is because people aren't critically thinking and trying to figure out, what can I do new? What new content can I make? So now everyone, like the new trend is you go online, you find a TikTok that did well, and then you put yourself in the corner.
Yeah. I think you would have a great advantage over everyone if you just never used TikTok.
I don't use TikTok, so it's great.
And it's like some of my friends, they're not on social media either. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, this is nice. It's nice because I'll ask them about this like thing I saw or like this trend. And they're like, I don't know what that is. I'm like, good. Yeah. Good. Testing you. But yeah, now I'm a part of that group.
Yeah.
I'm not on TikTok anymore.
Yeah, that's something that I think we're going to take away from Hugh is making sure that you live your life with intention.
Yeah.
And
don't doom scroll your life away.
Yeah. And he really did say, like, in order to make that quantum leap in life is you have to surround yourself with people. You have to surround and you know, our phone is someone who's like kind of a person, and it is infecting our mind either to the positive or the negative. So, and unfortunately it seems based on our conversation that it's far more negative than it is positive. So maybe it's better to get that. If you are the aggregate of the 5 people you spend more time with, maybe your phone friend who is like really dragging you down, get rid of that and like bring positive influences into your life that can actually help you. And then after the final question to Hugh was, what does financial freedom mean to you? What does financial independence mean to you? And I think he fell exactly where we do, where it comes down to autonomy of time.
Yep. It's one thing we can't make more of.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing we have a very finite and unknown amount of. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really nice to hear someone who's a little bit older in life talk about and feel the same things that we're feeling. And, you know, he was saying like we're very ahead on what we were thinking and what we were saying because he had only recently come into that, you know. And for us, that's a real motivator because I love sharing messages of a brighter future with our community. And that means a lot to me.
Yeah, and just think of that exponential growth curve, right? I mean, Hugh is, however old Hugh is, and he's just now he's figured this stuff out. Now he's teaching it to people. We figured it out in our 20s.
Yeah. And we have an entire life to implement and get the compound effect of being a little bit better every day and living with intention and happiness and just living a life worth living. And that's what I love.
I think that's Hugh's his underlying message, especially with his company, is understanding that you might say, oh, I need $5 million to be happy. But I think Hugh's company and things like my company, Monzon Wealth, are trying to do is just ask the question, do you really need $5 million? Is that really what's going to make you happy?
Yeah. What about that makes you happy?
And just exploring that is you can maybe, for most people, you can find that like, oh, you have happiness right now.
Yeah.
And there, you don't have to continue to attain for it. You have it right here, right now with everything that you have. Yeah.
There was this video I remember seeing way back in the day. It was a business counselor, business coach, and he had a mentor, and he asked her, he's like, what's your goal? And she's like, I want to be worth $100 million. And she was worth like $20 million in business, very successful. And he's like, why? and she's like, I want to show every person who ever doubted me, hated me, show them that I can do it. And he's like, look at the stats. Like, you're a woman, you're not, what's it called? Like when you're not part of the majority, you're a minority, and you're ultra successful, 20 million plus. And he's like, you're already there. You're already there. You don't have to, you can show them now.
Yep.
You are showing them. Like, and it just took her back, and it was like, wow, I can enjoy life now. I don't have to wait for the happiness. I don't have to wait for the success. I am the success. I am the happiness.
Yeah, because the fucked up thing is, she was never going to achieve it. Even when she reached $100 million, no, it wouldn't be there.
No.
Like the happiness.
Then it's the billion club. Yeah. It's just.
And how many people pursue their lives? I've had clients who are like, oh, I would really love, like when I ask them, like, what would make you happy? Like, I always just love to go camping. Yeah. I would really love to just be able to have a mountain, or have a home in the mountain.
Have a mountain. I want to have a mountain.
Home in a mountain and like work like 4 hours a day or do something like that. And it's like, okay, well, what are you doing now? And they're like, well, I live in the city. I do all these things. And like, we have all this equity in your home. You have all these investments. Like, you can legitimately move to any mountain town right now. And you have enough money to survive. Yeah. But like, oh no, because of now that I'm in LA. It's like, but you won't be in LA anymore.
Yeah.
You'd be wherever you want to be. And they're like, oh. Yeah. So like that happiness doesn't need to be this future time. Yeah. It can be right now. And only by finding somebody that can actually like ask those questions. A good financial advisor shouldn't be the person that just blindly says like, oh, you want $5 million? Okay, let's figure out that plan. That's the way it used to be. But now there's a bigger question of life planning is, why do you need $5 million? Do we really need $5 million to attain happiness?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Probably not. I'm going to be happy with or without the Audi R8. So can you.
Yep. I think, happiness is not a destination. It's a journey. It's a journey.
And it's not the things that bring you happiness. It's, for me at least, it's the people. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So thank you so much to Hugh Massie for joining us here on the FI Guys. We hope to maybe bring him back in the future. If you guys do like these interview styles, please let us know in the comments. We'll continue to work to bring on more and more interesting people for our audience. But with that, I say we get into our viewer mailbag. You said something about funny stuff, so I'm excited to hear it.
It's a rich one. So my girlfriend wants me to quit trading. No, I'm not in a relationship, still on the market. But I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I don't want the comments to go crazy. But
yeah, there'd be too many people reaching out.
Yeah, there's too many people reaching out. It's like no.
It's going crazy.
No. But that is the title. That is the title of today's letter. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Howdy, FI Guys. I'm reaching out to you for some financial advice because I'm in a bit of a dilemma. And my girlfriend believes that your expertise could shed some much needed light on my situation.
Okay.
Here's the gist of it. I'm 28 years old with a background in mechanical engineering, and for the past 7 years, I've been trying my hand at trading.
Okay.
We're not talking commerce here. We're talking stocks and options.
Perfect.
A little bit right down our alley. Now, before you jump to conclusion, let me clarify that I haven't hit the jackpot yet. Keyword yet. In fact, except for one stroke of luck on cryptocurrency, which, cool.
Wait, what conclusion did he expect me to jump to?
I don't know.
That's the exact conclusion that I would have jumped to, that he has not figured it out yet.
Yes. And with that being said, the next sentence is, I've been struggling to turn over a significant profit.
Perfect.
We know.
Then I jumped to the right conclusion.
You didn't have to tell us. We know. Like, you know the stats.
I know the stats.
You know the stats. Despite the setbacks, I firmly believe that I'm on the brink of a breakthrough.
Okay.
I've meticulously studied the markets, honed my strategies, poured countless hours into my trading endeavors. My sights are set on making it big. I'm not talking small peanuts, mega big. And here's the crux of the issue. My girlfriend, who is 22, is urging me to call it quits on trading. Wonder why. Here's the concern. Her concern is understandable. Trading can be unpredictable, volatile, and downright nerve-wracking at times. Mm-hmm. We know firsthand.
Yep.
But here's the thing. I'm not one to shy away from a challenge.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. With my education in with my educational background and analytical skills, I'm convinced that I can crack the code and make Forex trading work in my favor. Okay.
Oh, so he's doing Forex trading. It's not even options. It's not even stocks. It's Forex trading. Perfect. Okay. Perfect.
Is that better or worse?
That's
much worse.
In my opinion, it is harder to predict.
Yeah. Our concern is understandable. Read that part. Let's see. However, convincing my girlfriend of this seems to be an uphill battle. Yeah. She worries that our financial stability, our future together, and the risks involved are not for us. And while I respect her concerns, I can't shake the feeling that I'm on the cusp of something great.
Good for him.
Dude, he should not have wrote in. Smart girlfriend, though.
I'm just excited to hear what the rest of it says.
Dude. So here's where I turn for you for guidance. How do I navigate this delicate, volatile situation and convey to my girlfriend that trading isn't just a pipe dream, but a calculated endeavor backed by research, dedication, and firm belief in my abilities to succeed? How can I measure her? How can I reassure her that I'm not blindly chasing after a mirage?
Okay.
But rather a pursuit of legitimate opportunity for financial success.
Okay.
I appreciate the insights and advice you can offer on this matter. I know that your podcast has been a great source of inspiration and knowledge from my girlfriend, and I trust that your wisdom can help steer her in the right direction.
Hold on.
Listen to the podcast, sir. You need to tune in. Let me tell you something. Dial in, sir.
And I trust that your wisdom can help steer her in the right direction.
Bro, he's out of his mind. I shall continue. Thank you for considering my dilemma. Yep. I eagerly write your response. Oh, you're going to get it. You're going to get it. Sincerely, from engineer turned trader, futures my crusader for analyzing trends. My path's never been... Dude, could you read that riddle again? I'm just too flustered.
Yes. From engineer turned trader, futures my crusader, for I'm analyzing trends, my path never bends.
What kind of advice you got for us today, Chris?
Well, what I would say is 99% of gamblers quit before they ever hit it big. You know what? Scratch that. 99.9999999 repeated. Gamblers quit before they hit it big.
Dude.
Follow your dream, bro.
Follow your dream. But hey, you might be single, so...
Yeah, you might be single and following your dream. No, in all seriousness, I don't think this guy's ever listened to our podcast.
No.
My favorite part of the whole thing is I trust your wisdom can help steer my girlfriend in the right direction.
Dude, he's a maniac.
No, I mean...
he's wild for that.
So the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Yes.
You've been dedicated to this for 7 years now.
Yes.
You said that you have done one trade that was right, that was crypto.
Tell me how likely... tell me about that. Can anybody make money in a bull market? When everything's going up, can I make money?
You should be able to. When you're talking about foreign exchange trading, has nothing to do with a bull market or with a bear market. Those two things are completely delinked.
Okay.
So zero correlation there.
Okay.
But you do bring up a good point in that he has dedicated 7 years of his life. He said countless hours of dedicated research and education and all these other things that he's dedicated to, pouring into this pursuit of figuring out Forex trading. And just for our audience, Forex means foreign exchange trading. Mm-hmm. So you're basically trading one currency for another currency.
Yeah.
So if you ever have traveled abroad, you'll notice that you'll maybe go to Europe and you'll see like the dollar versus Europe is this, and the Chinese yen versus European money is this. And if you watch it, you sit there for more than like a second, you'll see that it's constantly changing. And the values are constantly changing. So foreign exchange traders, they'll come in, they'll say, I want to buy a Chinese yen right now because I believe in just a little while it's going to be worth more and I'll sell it for a gain.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to be able to predict that. Really what you're looking at charts. Mm-hmm. And you're just looking at, I like to call them you're looking at the clouds and you're really trying to predict the future.
Yeah. Simple as that. I hate to crap on someone's dream,
mm-hmm.
but
I'm going to.
Out of respect for you, because I want to give you my honest opinion on what I think you should do with your life. If this is something you're passionate about and God put you on this earth to be a trader and you believe that, you're going to have to pay the cost that it's going to come with it. I think it would be a better option. It would just to put your money in something that grows, you know, with historical growth. You know, you could probably recommend something. And have a side hustle. You're working on growing your money when you could have your money growing by itself and you go out and make more money doing something else.
Yeah, that's something that concerns me, right? He said he spent the past 7 years, and it sounds like, I mean, his girlfriend wouldn't be getting on his case if this wasn't doing it poorly.
Yeah.
Like if he was coming home, if he was like, hey babe, I just made another $1 million, like he would, there's no reason for him to write it. His girlfriend's like, this, whatever you're doing is working.
Yeah.
So clearly this isn't working. Over the last 7 years, had he just put his money in the S&P 500, done nothing, he'd been over 100%.
Yeah.
You know, he could have put any amount of money in and doubled it. And then more than doubled it, actually, in the last 7 years. Instead, he's done one trade that has worked with crypto.
Which, who knows what the percentage increase was.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, crypto has been on a tear for the last 7 years. So I'm sure you just put it into literally anything.
Yeah.
Or maybe into Bitcoin or Ethereum. Yeah. It's like a stable, to like a coin that isn't some shit coin. Yeah. And you should be pretty well off.
Yeah.
So,
finish this off.
So, I mean, I think the big thing is you want us to convince your girlfriend that you are doing a legitimate business. And I'm not saying that foreign exchange trading is not a legitimate business.
Yeah.
But if you have put 7 years of your life into it, how much more are you willing to put into it? I think the worst thing that we could tell you is you're just around the corner. You're almost there. Yeah. You know, 99% of gamblers quit right before they hit it big. Well, like, the markets can be irrational much longer than you can stay solvent. How long can you continue to pursue this reasonably, and what are you willing to sacrifice?
Yeah.
Because right now it sounds like your girlfriend is saying, I don't want to sacrifice our financial future for the possibility that this might work. You have a degree in mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
Well, what could you have done had you worked you dedicated your life this past 7 years to the pursuit of that? How much, like...
Or starting your own mechanical engineering business.
Mm-hmm. How much more can we get there? So at the end of the day, you asked us for guidance on being able to tell your girlfriend that this is a legitimate opportunity for you and that she should just let you do it. I'm assuming you're not listening to the podcast because you wouldn't have written in. So your girlfriend is really smart because she definitely set you up for this.
Yeah.
By having you right into it. So, you know, talk about that. But to his girlfriend that I'm sure is listening, yeah, you're on the right side of this ledger for me.
Yeah.
You know, I would just talk with him. And maybe he'll listen to us. He probably won't, honestly.
Probably won't.
He probably won't listen to us, honestly. But, you know, if you've been doing this for 7 years and you haven't turned anything minus one trade, you know, I would love to see his balance sheet. I would love to see how much money he has lost doing this.
Because most traders lose money.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of it.
Yeah, and there's a reason that you don't see day traders on the Forbes richest 100 people.
Sure.
There's a reason, because even if you do hit big, usually the next time they lose it all.
Yeah.
You know, you really are playing a roulette, and eventually that bullet's going to come up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, oftentimes they're not doing proper risk management either. You know, it's like, oh, with this trade, it could blow up my account. It's like the idea isn't to blow up your account. The idea is to stay in the game. Mm-hmm. You can't stay in the game if you risk everything and it goes south and you got wiped out.
Yeah. And that's why we always talk about proper risk management, right? And making sure that we're really taking stock of everything that we have. And it sounds like he's not. I mean, we don't even know. Is this guy working a job? Is he just doing...
Is he just doing
trading and his girlfriend supporting him? Does he have money from something else?
I don't know.
You know, does he have any money in stocks and bonds? Does he have... Because if he's saying like, okay, 10% of my net worth I'm going to do to Forex trading because I know I have this feeling. But the other 90, 80%, I'm going to put into long-term investments that I'm just going to buy and hold, not do anything with her. Yeah. I have a financial advisor who's doing his magic on the back end.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, that does not seem to be the situation we have here, though.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Hope that helps you.
Best of luck.
Yeah.
And to the girlfriend, best of luck.
Best of luck. Godspeed.
You know, I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean...
I agree with her.
With her, yes. The lady. With that being said, that concludes our 5 Friday feedback. Do we have any wins of the week?
Of course, we always have wins.
We always have the wins of the week. What is your win of the week?
So my win of the week is I actually just closed a deal with a CP out of New Jersey.
Nice.
So I'll be now his like top advisor that'll be referring people to.
CP, cool person?
Yeah, Cool Person Academy.
Just close the deal.
No, certified public accountant. So he'll be referring his clients to when they need an advisor to me.
Okay.
So I'll have a new kind of source of business. So I'll be doing stuff in New Jersey. So I'll probably be flying to New Jersey every so often to go and meet with people.
That's awesome. I guess my win of the week is we tried out a new software for the podcast called Riverside.fm. Not a plug, not a shameless plug, but it's going to let us improve our podcast and take it to the next level, which I know it can. And we're hoping that maybe the next podcast or in the future, we can even bring more guests on. We can have better audio, better flow, just better everything. So I'm excited that we checked out that software this week, and it kind of took us by a turn. Like we opened it up and we're like, wow, it can do all this. I mean, this is taking it to the next level.
Yeah, so we're maybe next week or the week after, we'll start a new podcast ability. I know majority of our listeners, they listen on podcast only. They don't watch the video, so audio only. If you guys do want to see our beautiful faces, you can always go on to YouTube and see us, or you'll see our old setup on these previous ones. My hope is by next week or the week after, we'll have our new setup, which will be both of us from our own respected homes. And maybe while I travel and do stuff, we'll be able to do podcasts on the road and write it off as a tax write-off.
Absolutely. There we go. Oh, Chris, we gotta go to Japan to record. Yeah. Tax write-off. We gotta record a podcast in Japan. Yeah. I love that.
Yep.
You're going to Japan soon, aren't you?
I'm going to Japan in a week, 2 weeks.
That's awesome.
Yep.
You've been excited. You've been talking about that for a long time.
Dude, this is the dream vacation.
I was so excited for you. Better take lots of pictures.
I will.
Better take lots of pictures.
My wife will.
She's a picture taker. But with that being said, thanks for stopping by. Remember the fee for the show.
Yeah, if you found any value today, please tell a friend about the Fi Guys. Hope you do. And please, if you guys like these interview styles with Mr. Massie, please let us know in the comments, and we'll continue to work to find new and exciting guests to bring on to introduce you to the world that they're trying to, make.
I love it.
Until next time, we'll see you later.
Peace.
This video podcast is sponsored by Monzon Wealth. The content in this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. We do not endorse specific products or services. Past performance does not guarantee future results. The opinions expressed are those of the host and guests, not the podcast sponsor.
It is crucial to consult with a qualified financial advisor or professional who can provide advice tailored to your specific needs before making any financial decisions, investments, or taking any other actions. If you are seeking specified help, you can reach out to Chris at monzonwealth.com.